saw a lot of surgeons in medical school. You're much better than them. I have a lot to learn from you. You're very arrogant. Do you think that helps you be a good surgeon? Does it hurt you as a person? Is it worth it?
Every single day, thousands of people globally watch hours worth of television as a means to escape from the daily struggles of life. They splurge on television shows with comedic relief like The Big Bang Theory or How I Met Your Mother, young adult dramas like Teen Wolf or The Vampire Diaries, and medical dramas like Grey's Anatomy and The Good Doctor. Even children spend hours in today's society learning valuable lessons in shows like Sesame Street or Paw Patrol. Television has such a strong influence on society and the way that minds are formed. They give us unrealistic expectations about love and the things that we should look for. They make us believe that we have enough knowledge about the cardiovascular system that we might even be able to assist in a coronary artery bypass surgery, or that we would know exactly what to do during an apocalyptic catastrophe. But it also has a much more realistic influence that many people often overlook. Television is just one form of social media that has taken society by storm and is a huge platform being used to shape the minds of society. A new hit television series aired on ABC on September 25, 2017, The Good Doctor. This series portrays the daily struggles and achievements of a young surgeon, Dr. Sean Murphy, who is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and Savant syndrome. The series showcases the prejudice and discrimination that Dr. Murphy faces on his journey towards becoming a renowned surgeon. The impact this series has had so far is worthy of discussion. What is autism? Autism is a spectrum disorder that typically ranges from high functioning to severe. People with autism often find social interaction with other individuals to be most difficult and can struggle in the areas of social interaction, communication, and behavior. Many people still hold false myths or have slight general knowledge about ASD, and in order for people whom have been diagnosed with ASD to stop being marginalized, society needs to begin having more conversations about ASD and advocating for those with it, so that society can one day move past this ideology of incompetency whenever the term disability is recognized. There is a very long and very much prevalent discussion of social advertisements or propaganda that has been used in order to sway a general population. In the mid to late 1800s, the presence of white superiority is most known and documented in 21st century history books. Although none of these advertisements were the direct reason for racial mistreatment and segregation, it played an imperative role in continuing the false social ideologies that were held towards the African American people. In the 1930s, a few short years after the television was invented, the majority of people that held roles on television consisted of Caucasian men and women during the conflicting era of segregation and discrimination. Racial minorities began to see some screen time when the first African American man aired the television show The Ethel Waters Show in 1939. Then, towards the end of the 1960s, television had a much more prominent role in the advocacy for the civil rights movement. Political and social persuasion is incredibly common in modern television as well. Political standpoints are argued daily on stations like CNN, Fox News, or NBC, but even movies and television shows are used to spread messages. Many of 21st century films like The Lorax, Wall-E, or The Day After Tomorrow, as well as television series such as Blackish, Modern Family, or Shameless, all seem to have political agendas that address current problems in society. Television and other historical elements used to publicize persuasive information is and never will be the deciding factor for social change. It is merely a form of publicity that has an incredibly broad audience and has capabilities of creating the discussion of, leading to the movements for, social change. Media advocacy is incredibly important if the 21st century wants to continue making efficient changes in community norms and policies, especially for those with ASD and any other disability.
Communicate, not just information, sympathy, empathy. Can Dr. Murphy do that? He can't even reliably show up for a job interview. Are you going to sit here and tell us that there were no other equally qualified young surgeons? Surgeons without this one's issues?
No. Which is why, exactly why, we should hire Sean. We should hire him because he is qualified and because he is different. How long ago was it that we wouldn't hire black doctors in this hospital? How long ago was it that we wouldn't hire female doctors at this hospital?
So you're comparing being African American or a woman with being autistic. Please, go on.
Okay. The rationalization is exactly the same. Words like temperament and, oh no, oh, how are the patients going to react? Aren't we judged by how we treat people? I don't mean as doctors, I mean as people. Especially those who don't have the same advantages that we have. We hire Sean and we give hope to those people with limitations, that those limitations are not what they think they are, that they do have a shot. We hire Sean and we make this hospital better for it.
Sean Murphy in The Good Doctor does not represent all people with ASD, as every case of ASD and every person with it is different. Murphy and The Good Doctor represent an opportunity for conversation about autism spectrum disorder that has been approached before in television shows like The A Word and Atypical, but has struck both the hearts and minds of a broader audience. This show recognizes the prejudice that is faced not just by those with autism, but anyone who has ever felt displaced or marginalized because of their differences. In episode 7 of season 1 of The Good Doctor, Dr. Murphy assists with a patient who just so happens to have autism spectrum. Even though Murphy at this point in the series has continuously proved himself within the medical field, he still faces adversities in proving himself to those who hold slight beliefs in his abilities. The parents of the patient with autism, Liam, refuse to allow Murphy to partake in their son's surgery due to his diagnosis. Though Liam's parents care deeply for him, their ignorance to the reality of their son's diagnosis is hard to miss. They act on the belief that their son cannot answer for himself and that he has very little competency whenever they try to make his decisions for him. However, towards the end of the episode, Liam finally expresses that he wants Dr. Murphy to help with his operation, and Murphy yet again saves this young man's life. As Liam comes out of surgery, his parents express their newfound respect for Dr. Murphy, as well as their newfound knowledge that their son is not inept at all. Instead of making Liam's decisions for him, they begin to ask him what he would prefer and give him the opportunity for independence, self-expression, and success. These are the kinds of changes that need to happen in the real world. It is incredibly important for people with autism to have people there to support them, but if those people do not believe in them or fully accept them, it can hold them back tremendously. Those with autism want the same things that the rest of society does: to reach their goals, achieve their dreams, express their talents, and to be accepted for who they are. The Good Doctor exemplifies this in every way. Dr. Murphy is just a young man looking to find his place in the world, but has encountered obstacle after obstacle. He has faced countless doubt by his coworkers and superiors, and ignorance and fear from patients, yet is still able to establish himself as a surgeon because of how capable he really is. The Good Doctor shows not only how capable Dr. Murphy is, but also just how much public advocacy can change lives. Sean started the series off with only one advocate, but as he continues to prove himself as a surgeon, he is also proving to those who doubted him how capable he is, and in return advocating for anyone else who is discriminated against for having differences and establishing friends along the way. Dr. Murphy has broadened many minds and also created acceptance for both himself and anyone else with differences. The ASD advocacy in The Good Doctor is exactly what society needs to begin making changes that can benefit everyone the most. Advocacy is extremely important in order to give knowledge to those who do not understand autism. However, they need to be able to accept it as well for real change to happen. The fundamental difference between awareness and acceptance is action. In my opinion, awareness can be likened to seeing a person whose car is broken down on the side of the road. Acceptance is stopping to offer help. Now that we all know about autism, it's time to act upon that awareness. This is true acceptance. Selena Miller. Public advocacy and awareness is the first step forward in a long battle to change public ideologies. In order for something to be accepted, it needs to be understood. Changing societal views towards ASD will be a long battle, but these kinds of changes have been accomplished in the past for African American equality, women's rights, and countless other groups. Reaching into a society where everyone, no matter their differences, has a chance to prove themselves and reach for their dreams is within reach if public advocates continue to spread awareness, as well as media advocacy, acceptance for people with autism spectrum disorder, as well as many other disabilities, will become much faster and easier to reach. Then people like Sean Murphy and other people that have widely varying cases of autism will have more opportunities to make our society better. Then our society will have made many steps forward towards truthfully being able to say that our differences are accepted, cherished, and encouraged. Then our society will be on a much brighter path towards prosperity.